Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Gravit episode number 4. Let's Gravit is a series where I showcase the creation of vector art using Gravit Designer, a free, cross-platform, and fully featured vector design application. I will include a link to their website below for more information. Today the subject will be a boy character. Please feel free to pause the video as needed in order to follow along, and be sure to answer any questions you may have in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and let's get started. We'll begin by choosing an Instagram post template from the home page. Then press R to choose the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle on the screen. Round the corners completely in and resize it to right about there. Then we're going to take it and choose the fill color. First I'll choose the orange and give it like a skin tone, like a flesh tone. Then we'll take the head shape, we'll copy and paste it with Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and then reduce the size so it fits as a neck. Send it to the back with Ctrl+Shift+Down, then choose the color and just take it down a little bit in the darkness. That way it kind of separates the color values just a little bit. Select both shapes, move them down just a bit. Then we're going to copy the head shape with Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. We're going to change the color to a red. We're going to move it down under the neck, send it to the back with Ctrl+Shift+Down, and let's reduce the size to right about there. Yeah, pretty good. And we'll take the entire thing, select it, hold shift and drag it up. Now press R to choose the rectangle tool, drag a rectangle at the bottom of the body shape, and do the subtract function. And then select the shape to the left and send it to the back with Ctrl+Shift+Down. Now we're going to choose the rectangle tool with R and drag a rectangle right about there to represent a belt. And give it a dark, not quite black, but a dark fill color. And we're going to press R to choose the rectangle tool again. We're going to draw a belt buckle and round the corners completely in and give it a gold color. Then take the shape, and we want to resize it so it looks a little more rounded rectangle, right about there, slightly smaller. There you go. And then center it on the belt, just like so. We're going to go ahead and save this. Let's save it to the cloud. I have a Let's Gravit folder created, and I'll call it Boy, and just save it. Good. Now press R to choose the rectangle tool, draw out an arm shape roughly like this and round the corners completely in. Then choose the shape and we're going to give it the same color fill as the head. We're going to send it to the back with Ctrl+Shift+Down, and we're going to drag the bottom arm down right about there so it meets the belt. Now I want to copy and paste the arm shape, press R to choose a rectangle, and draw it over that shape right about there. Select the new rectangle and the arm that you copied. Go up and choose Subtract. We're going to give it the same color fill as the shirt. Then we're going to drag the color down just slightly to give it a little bit darker tone. Then we're going to take that shape, send it to the back with Ctrl+Shift+Down, and then bring it forward one step with Ctrl+Up. Now choose the rectangle tool with R. Draw a small rectangle right next to the arm, and we're going to slightly round the edges, not fully rounded, but just slightly, and then give it the same color fill as the arm itself. And here we'll reduce the size just a bit more and put it right on the tip of the arm. Then we'll select the entire arm shape, copy and paste it with Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and drag it over to the other side holding shift to constrain it. And then once it snaps to the body, you'll see both arms. Now press R for the rectangle tool and drag out a square rectangle right about there. We'll reduce the size a bit. We're going to cut it with Ctrl+X, choose the hand, and hit Ctrl+V to paste it right in front of the hand. And you'll see here I just kind of move it around a little bit. This is just trying to get it in the appropriate location. And we're going to press R for the rectangle tool. We're going to draw a leg shape roughly there. And we're going to copy it with Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, move it over, and then we'll align both with each edge. Now we're going to make them into shorts, I think. So press R for the rectangle tool, draw a rectangle across both legs, copy and paste the rectangle tool, and then select one rectangle and one leg, subtract, Then select the other rectangle, one leg, and subtract, and this will cut them off. We're going to copy one of the arms down so that we can use it as a leg. And we're going to make it just a bit smaller. Yeah. And we're going to kind of just move this around a bit and see if we can get this where we want it for location purposes. And this is really all just a visual thing. Now we're going to change the color of the short legs and the short base there. And we want to make sure that the pants are in fact snapped to the edges. And there we go. I think the arm is probably a bit too big, so I want to take the leg shape we made and we'll just copy it up there and see how that looks. Yeah, I think the arm was a bit too thick, and then we'll move the hand, or reduce the hand size a bit, and then we'll move it over. Yeah, that looks better. I think the arm was just a little too stout. So we'll delete the other arm and hand, select that arm and hand, copy and paste them with Control-C, Control-V, and then move them over holding Shift to constrain them equally. Then we'll take one of these legs down here. Yeah, I like to look at that. And here I'm just making sure I'm happy with the overall look of it. And then we're going to copy and paste it with Control-C, Control-V, hold Shift, drag it over. And we need to put one back in place for the arm. Whoop, I meant to copy that, not move it. So we'll copy the leg again, Control-C, Control-V, move it over. Now I think the head's a bit too big, so I'm going to reduce the size of that just a bit, and the neck as well, just a little too big. Sometimes I find I start with the head and neck usually, and sometimes just a little too big for the overall drawing. Now press R to choose the rectangle tool, and we're going to draw a rectangle across the base of both legs. Then we'll copy that rectangle and paste it with Control-C, Control-V. Then choose one rectangle, one leg, subtract. Choose the other rectangle, the other leg, and press subtract. This is basically going to cut them off flat at the base, which is going to enable us to put shoes or feet or something down there. Now select both legs and send them to the back with Control-Shift down. Then we're going to drag them down just a little bit. I think they're a bit too high. Now press E for the ellipse tool and drag out a perfect circle by holding Shift. Now we're going to press R for rectangle, draw it across the middle of the circle, select both shapes and subtract to create a half circle shape. And then drag it down roughly there on the leg. Then we're going to press R for another rectangle and drag it across the bottom and slightly round the corners. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. And we're going to let that snap to the bottom of that half circle. Now we'll press R for another rectangle tool and draw it right about there. And then we're going to give this some colors. And I think we'll go with kind of a green for the shoe itself. For the base of the shoe, we're going to give it a dark blue, almost black, but not quite. Then we'll choose that back piece, select the eyedropper, and choose the original green, and then we'll take the green down just a little in the darkness. There we go, good. Now we'll press R, we'll drag a rectangle right about there, round the corners in a bit, and I want to give it the same dark color, so choose the eyedropper tool and choose that dark color. Then select the shape, hit Control X to cut it, select the leg, and press Control V to paste it. Now let's make that little piece at the bottom of the shoe there just a little bit taller. Now press R for rectangle tool and drag out a rectangle snapping to each side of the leg right about there. Press Control X to cut it, choose the leg, and press Control V to put it right in front of the leg. Now we're going to press R, we're going to drag a little shape across the sock, rectangle right about, I'd say there, and we'll give it kind of a reddish color. Maroonish red, there we go. Take that shape, copy and paste with Control C, Control V, and then drag it down holding Shift. Whoop, didn't mean to drag that. We'll copy that shape again, Control C, Control V to copy and paste, and then drag it down. Now select all three of those rectangles, holding Shift to select them simultaneously, and then press Control X, choose the white of the sock, and press Control V. Now we're going to select all those shapes, and then we're going to copy them with Control C, Control V, flip them horizontally, and drag it over to the right. Pretty cool. Then you just want to kind of get this right about where it should be. And I'm going to group this shoe with Control G. That way all the shapes are grouped into one element. Alright, pretty good. And here I'm just playing with the size of the leg to see if I want it smaller than the sock or whatnot, but I think I'll actually leave it the same size. Very good. Now for the head. Let's reduce the size just a bit. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. There we go. Right now I'm just kind of looking at the whole drawing to see, what I'm feeling about it. So far so good. Now we're going to press E, actually no, R for rectangle tool. We're going to drag in the corners 3/4 of the way and then give it the same color fill as the head. And then we'll, actually same color fill as the neck. Now we're going to move it down on the head, snap it to the side, and we'll select it and press Control Shift down to send it to the back. Good. Now we'll drag it down a little bit more. Then we're going to make sure it's snapped right to the side. There it is. Then we will, hold on one second, there we go. And then we will press Control C, Control V to copy and paste, and then drag it over with Shift, letting it snap to the right side of the head. Now press E for the ellipse tool, and I don't want to make it a perfect circle. I want it slightly misshapen, so just drag it out about like that and give it a white fill. Then we're going to copy it with Control C, Control V, and move it over to the right. And snap it to the center of the head. Then we'll press E and we'll drag kind of an elongated ellipse in the center of the eye and give it a dark fill, right about there. We'll take that shape, make sure it's centered on the eye, then we'll copy it with Control C, Control V, and use Shift to drag it over to the other eye. And this works for now, we may adjust this. Now for the nose, I'm going to press R for rectangle, draw a rectangle out, round in the corners about halfway, give it the same color fill as the ears and the neck, and then we'll center it on the head right about there. Now take a rectangle, pressing R, about halfway, select both, and subtract it to create this kind of a little nose shape in the center there. Very good. Now we're going to press E for the ellipse tool and drag out a circle holding Shift. And I want to play around to see what kind of compound shape I can make, so we're going to cut the top off to see if we can create a smile. Alright, we're going to drag the top of the head down a little bit. I think it's just a bit too long. There we go. And we're going to select the entire character and kind of move him toward the center. Alright, yeah, it's looking pretty good. Here I want to take the entire upper body and drag it down just a little bit. I think it's slightly too tall, so we'll drag out a shape and select all that. And then we'll hold Shift, select the hands, and we'll just drag the upper body down just a little bit. There we go, that's better. And then for this, we're going to press R to choose the rectangle tool, drag the corners all the way in. We're going to choose the orange color, and then we're going to shift it into a brown for the eyebrows. There we go. And we'll drag that above the eye, and then we're just going to make it a bit smaller here and there, kind of drag it around. Yeah, looking pretty good. Nice. Then we'll copy it with Control C, Control V. Whoops. Copy it with Control C, Control V. Flip it horizontally and drag it over to the right. Then we'll select both, holding Shift, and then we'll center them on the head. There we go. Now we're going to choose the Path tool by pressing P. And we're going to just draw out a hair shape. And this is really up to you on how you want to do this, but I'm just going to kind of drag it out. And hopefully we can get something on the first go. We'll see how this turns out. And sometimes this can be hard to visualize until you have the entire shape done. But I find that I just kind of draw it and then you can manipulate the points later. And you don't have to use a shape. You could use, ellipse tools or anything you wanted, rounded rectangles. I just prefer this look. Now we'll select the border, we'll hit delete, we'll choose the infill of the hair, and we will give it that same brown. There we go, I'm pretty happy with that. Actually, I want a different mouth. Let's see how we can do this. We're going to press E for the ellipse tool, and then we're going to drag out a circle by holding Shift. There we are, right about there. Then I want to take this, give it the same dark infill as the original mouth. We're going to delete that original mouth. Let's move this over. Very good. Center it on the head. Now we're going to choose the rectangle tool, draw it across the top like that, select both shapes and go to subtract. This is going to basically cut the top of that circle off. Then we're going to right click on that compound shape and go to convert to path, or by pressing Ctrl-Shift-P. Press E to choose the ellipse tool and we'll draw another perfect circle. Center it over the mouth. Then we're going to choose the color picker tool and give it the same red as the shirt. Then we'll cut it with Ctrl-X, choose the mouth, and go up to Edit, Paste Inside Selection. Then we're going to press R and draw a rectangle at the top, give it a white color. And we're going to cut it with Ctrl-X, choose the mouth, and go to Edit, Paste Inside Selection. So now you can see we have the teeth in the mouth, and I like the way that circle looks a little bit better. I think the eyes are a bit too big. So we're going to select both of them holding Shift. And then we're going to drag them down just a bit. I feel like they were just too big on the head. Then we're going to reduce the size of the pupils. Move it over. I want to center that pupil actually. There we go. We're going to get rid of this other eye completely. We'll delete it. We'll just copy this entire one. Copy it with Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V. Move it over holding Shift. And then we'll center them on the head. Alright. I think they're too far apart. Yeah, a little too far apart. Let's go back in there. We'll grab this eye. We'll drag it over. Here we go. And using Shift, we'll select both eyes and then we'll drag them over so they center on the head. That's better. Okay, good. We're going to save it with Ctrl-S. Now we're going to select the entire character. Oh, didn't want to resize. Ctrl-Z to undo that. I want to select the entire character and I just want to move them to the center. Right about like there. There we go, and let it snap into place. Now, we're going to press E to choose the ellipse tool and drag an oval at the bottom of his feet like that. Get the color picker, give it the same dark fill as the belt, and give it a 20% opacity. And send it to the bottom with Ctrl-Shift down and center it. Now we want to mess with the fill on the background. And let's look at some of these colors and see what this does for us. And we may end up changing some of the colors of the character, I don't know yet. And we'll go with that gray for now. Let's take a good look. I'm not sure I like the gray, but I do want to take the character and maybe see if we can't make him waving or something. Something a bit different. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the sleeve of this arm, we're going to rotate it up. Move it up on the body a little bit, there we go. And we'll take this arm, reduce the size down, and we're going to rotate it. There we go. And have it coming out of the arm, just like so. Nice. Now, let's see, we'll copy it with Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V, rotate it a bit. Alright, we'll kind of move it around so it looks like it's right there at the edge of the elbow, and you got to kind of play with that to get it just right. There we go. Now, we'll reduce the size down a bit. Now we're going to take the hand shape, move it up there, rotate it, kind of move it at the tip. Very nice. Okay, so it's starting to get where we want it. Got to move that around a bit more, just like so. Good. And then the hand will kind of need moving there. Okay. I want to rotate the shape this direction. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Now we're going to copy this orange shape with Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V. We're going to rotate it just a bit, and we're going to greatly reduce it by not holding Shift. We're trying to make a thumb here. A little bit bigger. Right about there, I'd say. Now we're going to get the color picker tool, give it the same color as the neck. Oh, and then cut it with Ctrl-X, choose the hand, and hit Ctrl-V to paste it in front of it. Nice. And then we just want to kind of move it right there. That placement might be a bit off, but we'll work on that. Alright, we'll save it with Ctrl-S. Good. Now, I don't like that color. So what I want to do is I want to modify that just a bit for the background. Let's see if we can come up with something just a little bit better that might suit the picture. And yeah, I kind of like that one. And then one other thing I wanted to do was the legs. I wanted them to be slightly thinner than the socks. That way it kind of makes the socks look thick. So let's drag those over. Alright, pretty good. I think I'm pretty happy with that character. That should be complete. Thank you for joining me in this lesson. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, like, or comment. If you have a request or something you would like to see me draw, please leave it in the comments below. Also, if you would like to support the creation of these videos and earn other additional rewards, please check the video description for my Patreon information. Always remember that anyone can be creative, just believe in yourself and work hard. Thank you and have an amazing day.